This is TVC News Hour. I'm Moses Omoghena with the business update. The Nigerian government says it will establish a development bank in the first or second quarter of 2015. Finance Minister Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala says it is for the purpose of providing an avenue for long-term lending to start up big businesses in the country. She disclosed this at the annual meeting of Nigerian Institute of Chartered Accountants, some of whom say Nigeria is making giant leaps in conforming to international financial reporting standards.
Developing a development financial wholesale institution called the Development Bank of Nigeria that will deliver term finance to this economy. You all know that if you're in business, it's very difficult to borrow for anything more than 1 to 3 years, isn't it? Yet this economy cannot make headway unless we have an institution that can deliver finance for 7 years, 10 years, 15 years, so that an investor, a manufacturer, a medium and small enterprise person who needs access to finance will not have to start paying back whatever they borrow before they've even made an impact with their investment.
Virtually all the quoted companies on the Nigerian stock exchange has converted to international financial reporting standard. And the capitalization of the Nigerian stock exchange as at yesterday is 13.5 trillion naira. That is a chunk out of our GDP. And all entities of public interest have complied with conversion to IFRS.
Extended droughts and unpredictable rainy seasons. Those are the effects of climate change in Kenya, and farmers are struggling to adjust. Details from this report.
Climate change in Kenya is devastating many smallholder farms. But now there's a program that offers training and money in exchange for carbon credits.
We have seen the climate change. The rains now are different than they were before. We cannot predict anymore when it is going to rain.
Many smallholder farms here were already degraded, the trees cut down for fuel and the soil open to erosion. But a program called the BioCarbon Fund is hoping to change farmers' fortunes in Kenya. The BioCarbon Fund trains farmers in sustainable agriculture and gives them cash if they plant trees that reduce carbon. Farmer Ben Olich says that once he started using more climate-smart techniques, his farm improved.
What I liked about the training I received from the project is that it emphasized diversification. When one crop fails, I can still benefit from another enterprise.
The extra income generated from planting trees also helps many families that were barely surviving before.
Since I joined the BioCarbon Fund project, our life has really changed, because when there is income in the family, there is peace.
According to the BioCarbon Fund, tree planting in Kenya has already reduced 25,000 tons of carbon. The program hopes to train thousands more farmers in climate-smart agriculture.
And now taking us to North Africa, Tunisia is seeking foreign investment in its democratic startup 3 years after the country set the ball rolling on the Arab Spring uprisings that swept away entrenched dictators. Vivian Adebomawo reports.
The just concluded International Investment Conference in Tunis will remain a milestone in Tunisia. The conference played host to more than 30 states, 20 international financial and economic institutions, 27 multinationals, investment funds and international banks. This coalition is coming 3 years after the country set the ball rolling on the Arab Spring uprisings that swept away long-time dictators.
This is what was expected, and this is what we heard today. It is a clear vision for Tunisia, for the economy in the future. The finance minister explained the challenges and actions to take very well. Now this is what we all suggested. What's important isn't the vision, but the execution of the vision. First, we must remember that it is extraordinary what we have seen in Tunisia until now. 3.5 years after the revolution, it still stands. We don't even have an economy that has fallen completely by the wayside.
However, participants in the international conference tagged Invest in Tunisia, Startup Democracy, agreed to establish a mechanism to monitor the implementation of projects presented by Tunisia at the conference. The construction of a deep-water port in Efida, south of the capital, and a dam in northwest Tunisia featured among the projects. Tunisian authorities say the main goal of the conference is to restore investor confidence through the government's strategic vision of structural economic reforms.
You know that people believe in this Tunisia, and I think we need to follow up on this conference next year.
What we expect, what we hope from Tunisia, for Tunisians, is that they are successful, and we need to support the economic transition to consolidate the political transition of the past 3.5 years.
To this end, a team composed of representatives of countries, regional and international institutions who attended the conference will be formed. Their first meeting would take place in the first quarter of 2015. They recommended in the final declaration of the conference to review the tax system as soon as possible. The effort is aimed at increasing tax revenues, particularly through expanding the tax base, narrowing tax gap, combating tax evasion. Vivian Adebamowa, TVC News.
And now taking us south, Petra Diamonds Limited has recovered a 232.08 carat white at its Cullinan mine in South Africa. Analysts say this could fetch about $16 million for southern African countries. Shares in the diamond miner climbed as much as 6.5% in early Tuesday trading, the biggest rise in recent times. The diamond miner, with 5 producing mines in South Africa and Tanzania, says it expects the diamond that has no measurable nitrogen impurities to be produced by the end of the year. And still in South Africa, international banks and targeting expansion in West and East Africa to take advantage of accelerating economies and population growth. Roberts Diamonds Atlas Mara Co Invest has increased its stake in Union Banks of Nigeria after buying lenders in Botswana and Rwanda, while Qatar National Bank QSC acquired a 12.5% of Togo-based Ecobank. Atlas Mara agreed to buy a 21% stake in Union Bank of Nigeria from Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria, all in its efforts to expand across the continent. And oil prices have stayed mixed in the world market as dealers monitor commodity supplies and data. In London, the Brent trades a little higher than Tuesday's quotation price. However, the Brent crude still trades below $100 per barrel. For the OPEC crude, the price drops to $96 per barrel. Analysts say that further drops in price could put OPEC member nations in budget deficit situations. And that's all we can take on business at this hour. Let's join Mayowa for the world of sports.